Hello, I'm Ronnie Fulton with Fulton Woodworks. I'm a professional woodworker, and I've been asked many times for a shop tour video, and here we go. Coming in the door of the main area of my shop is my assembly area, and we'll start there first. Follow me down the stairs. Let's start with my temporary workbench of now many years. I still haven't gotten around to making my forever workbench. This is the one that I also can travel with. So I have some simple sawhorses on here, but it gets the job done. So this is my main workbench, and then this would be my secondary workbench that I use a lot. It's my MFT Festool table, and I have it set up with a holder for the back clamp, and I've got all three heads, and I have my foot pedal down here, and when I want to roll it around, I can stick my foot pedal on here, and then this hole also goes under the feet when this is retracted. Also under here I have a back, and I also have an air compressor. So directly behind this assembly table I have my Festool sustainer wall, which is one of my newer projects, and what I generally have, the way I have it set up is I have the accessories to my Festool tools in here, but I keep the actual tool on my wall control board that I'll show you in a minute. This allows for when I work mobily, I can take the tool, throw it in the sustainer, and go. But when I'm working in the shop, it's just more convenient to keep it set up this way. And directly over in front of this other bench, I have my wall control wall, which I've had for about a year, and it's been a big game changer in how my workflow goes and how I'm able to just grab a tool and use it. It goes back up. It's a lot easier than putting all the tools back in all the sustainers every time when you're just grabbing and going. I'll go over a little bit of how I have this set up. So I didn't actually even straighten up for this video, and I think it's just to make a point of how it stays neat in itself when everything has its place. So like I have paper towels, glues, I've got batteries, band-aids, things like this, and these little mini cute little sustainers, router bits. I've got tape that I use a lot, and then the bigger power tools on top. The nice thing about wall control is these shelves will hold like 50 pounds. So I have the Festool Conturo edge bander, the big 2200 router, the planer, the track saws, and then all the sanders, Domino XL, 500, all these are all in a place where I can grab them. So a little fun fact about this worktop drawers and storage shelves is this is actually out of my trailer. It's my first run at the POC Total Rolling Toolbox that I did probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and I ended up making my trailer a little more simple, so I brought this in here, temporary solution again, probably 3 years ago. I'm not a big fan of drawers. I really like the wall control, but the reason why I'm not a big fan of drawers is because I work off-site as much as I do in my shop, and when things are in the drawers, it just means that I have to pack them up. So what I'm changing over to is I love my drawers that I keep everything in, like, oh, I picked a good drawer. That's a nice one. So I have my drawers set up as compact and as organized as I can, and what I want to do is make a top that basically has docking station so that I can just slide. I have 3 or 4 of these stacks. I want to just slide these in here so that when I work mobily, I can actually just take them, set them up, and I have everything that I have in the shop. And while we're on the storage topic, shelves, in my opinion, are bad if you can reach them. I like shelves up high, but down low, they collect everything and anything. Now you've seen my work area, now it's time to go over to a smaller version with a smaller person.
I'm Cam from Cam's Corner Shop, and this is my corner shop. So this is some finished product as examples that I like to make. My favorite power tool is this mini Rockler router cable. It has a little Bosch colt underneath it, and it's really nice for smaller detail edges. I have a 1/4 rounding bit on this for all my coasters, and then I have a bigger bit in my wall control container for my bigger cutting boards. This is my mini miter saw station. I have all of my stored scraps from cutting boards. It starts off with walnut, then maple, mahogany underneath, and then a few scrap glue ups. My scroll saw for anything from just making fun little things, but the biggest thing I use it for is making templates for my lathe. This is my lathe where I do all my turning, and this is the little A-frame cart I made to hold all my turning tools. This is my wall control pegboard where I store all of my frequently used tools.
This is my mobile clamp rack, and I made this a few years ago, and it's been a great improvement from having the clamps on the walls for how I work, because I'm able to bring it to wherever I'm building something, and a lot of times you use a lot of clamps. One of my favorite things about it, other than being on wheels, is it's very easy to put something back on because of the angle. They just hold. So this is my miter station wall, which is basically right when you come into the door, which is nice when you're bringing materials in. Sometimes you can just cut them to length right off the bat. I have a quick stop from Biesenmeyer Delta with the measurements, which saves a lot of time. This is the shop cat, Domino, that's making this video so hard. Okay, now that the cat is temporarily happy, we'll go back to that. My Capex, like everything else, is set up to also work mobile as well as in the shop. So I put blocks on here that register all the locations on the saw so that when I come back from a job site and work in the workshop, this saw is registered correctly with the tape and I never have to worry about it shifting, and it keeps it really solid. I also kept the extension wings on, and I have the crown stops that I can use, which really come in handy. So something I've done for my fence that I used to not have the extension wings because this handle stuck out beyond the saw is I made this slidable so that I can just slide it over and lift the saw out. It's on runners where it doesn't move. So something else that's worked out really nice is I've got my Craig Foreman machine set up in the same line, so when I'm not using it, stock can go across here and it doesn't matter, but when I go to use my pocket machine, I can actually slide this out, and for long material I can use the same fence for doing long like cabinetry and that kind of thing. It's really worked out nice. Just slides up out of the way. It also is very easily mobile. I can just pick it up and take it. So this is the what I call the alternative outfeed. I usually use that one primarily, but because I had to set this up with a saw, I ended up using these plastic containers to take advantage of all the space I could. I also have these temporarily here. I plan on moving my drill press over here and my sander, but for now this has worked. Also, just to mention, I have some wood storage overhead here, and I love these Portamate racks. I use them everywhere. So it gets a little messy. It's time to organize it, but it works. And then up here, purposely out of reach, the vac, sandpaper, garbage bag, little things that I have overstocks of. Hey, moving on to the centerpiece of my shop would be my Powermatic 66. I've had this for about 15 years. It's been a great saw. I basically have this where I have plenty of room in front and out. And this was not by design, it just ended up this way. I found that when I use a full 8-foot piece of ply, it actually will rest right here and I can send it on in. So that's kind of been a nice little benefit. And I know I said a minute ago that I don't like drawers, but there's a lot of space under this saw. So I did make some nice large storage drawers. I keep all my blades and my edge banding, my dado stack, and a push stick in here. Comes in handy. It's a quick way to grab the blades and they don't get messed up. And I made this basically by sandwiching 3/4 and 1/4 inch plywood, and it leaves the little gaps. It's a quick project, easy to do with scrap wood. Okay, underneath the outfeed table, I have my crosscut and miter sled in this slot, and I also have 4 very large drawers that right now are currently pretty much completely empty, which I'm excited about. It's after some organization. So I'm getting ready to outfit those to be more customized. I've also have a second Foreman that I used to use just mobily in the trailer, and I found it sometimes, especially with Cameron's helping me in the shop, it's nice to have 2 of these. And also I found sitting in here, it generally never gets in the way because I'm generally never cutting any farther than here on the saw. So it's kind of nice having a second one here. This is my little trusty DeWalt planer. I use it a lot. I also have a 20 inch over there, but I do use the DeWalt a lot. And I've got this actually on our old gas grill stand, and it has worked great. It's on wheels. It's got storage in the back. It's one of those things you just put a temporary fix in and it just becomes permanent. Next in the corner over here, I have my Powermatic bandsaw. Basic standard setup here, except for I have the Carter guides, and I have the mag fence with the setup blocks, which allow you to set your depth. They're magnetic. They really come in handy. This is the bandsaw. So next I have a belt sander and disc sander, and it's sitting on top of an old router table that was actually my wife's grandfather's, which is pretty cool. I've used it a couple of times. He still has it set up with router bits, and pretty cool. He made this back in the 80s. And also in progress is my woodpecker's router table, which I'm dying to get set up, but I still need to get the router that fits to the lift. So that's on the to-do list. Looks like I've got choices between the Bosch and DeWalt, and if you've got experience with this router table and you have a favorite router, let me know. Directly above this tooling area, I have some of my nicer woods. This is mostly walnut and maple and cherry. A lot for cutting boards, and we do glue ups for like tables and things like that. I try to keep all of that wood over here in the same place. Okay, this is take 3 because this cat will not stop meowing for this shot, so I'm going to hold him where he will not meow. So, I have all my large, heavy tools on wheels so that I can move them around however needed based on using long materials or short materials. I like to keep them as compact as possible for working on smaller, but when I have a large, I can expand them out, and I have plenty of room to do that. This is a 3 horsepower WoodTech shaper, and then I also have a Woodmaster 20-inch planer and molding machine, and then followed by the drill press, which I use very, very little, but I do have it back there. Something else I like to point out, I have a jet, used to be a jet dust collection system that I basically took apart and I mounted it to the wall with all the ducting, the spiral ducting, and it's actually exhausting out back into a trailer, so I don't have to worry about the bag collection, which is very, very nice. And it makes the suction extremely strong. Also, I'd like to point out the importance of fans in a shop because it really helps with the airflow when it's warmer, but also for heat, I have the 220 electric ceiling mount heaters. I have 2 of those in this area. This is a 32 by 30 room, and using the heaters with the addition of the fan keeps the warm air flowing, and it works great. We've had some pretty cold days in here and it stays very comfortable. Coming out of my workshop area, this is the original part of my building that I started out with. And what happened was when I got my full-size CNC, I lost a lot of space, so I had to add on. But the way I have it set up here is I have a metal cabinet that has my stains and tints and dyes and mineral spirits, things like that. I have those in here. And then this is my desk that I do all the SketchUp, CNC, that kind of thing with. I've got a screen for the machine control, and I've got a screen for the desktop. Desktop's in here. So this is a little nice work area, and I like that when I'm not using it, I can shut it and keep the pesky cat from getting in there. This is my pride and joy. This is a Cobra CNC. It's a full size. It takes up a huge amount of space. I think 12 feet by like 8 feet of space, but it's so nice to be able to, it's so nice to be able to use a full sheet and cut. And it's got an 8 tool changer. It's got a HSD spindle. I'll have to do another video showing a lot more detail on this in the future. So I also have the luxury, since I added onto the shop, that I get to keep the trusty work fan inside, out of the elements, except for when I'm building things, I'll actually pull it out into the shop driveway. But this becomes a huge assembly area for things off the CNC machine or things that we're building in the other side. We can bring it up here. This also acts as a finishing area. Okay, it's also nice to have a 55-foot long driveway that I can use in nice weather as another staging area. And then I can actually pull directly into this area of the shop and load onto the CNC. I currently have 4x8 storage here that I keeps it kind of things half in order. I'd like to put more dividers in here and actually turn it to this way, like horizontal instead of vertical storage. Also have a lot of 4x4 cutoffs that I seem to find myself with. Okay, I think I pretty much showed the main areas of the shop for this 2020 tour, and I look forward to doing one next year because there's always so much that happens. Small projects add up throughout the year. And a couple of things I want to point out too for someone who's just watching this and getting ideas for their shop. No one's shop is set up the same. Everybody's is different. Everybody works different, whether they're mobile or they're working just in their shop. Everyone has a certain amount of room. And I've worked in a driveway shop, an apartment balcony. My first house was a garage. I've had a basement walkout shop, and then I've moved up to this. I did not get this overnight. It's taken 20 years of woodworking to get where I am now, and a lot of people see the Festool that I have, and just keep in mind, when I do a job, I factor that in on the job, and over time that adds up. So don't feel overwhelmed when you see a bunch of tools on a tour like this. If you've got the passion for woodworking and you stay at it, you're going to amass some tools. It just happens. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to drop any comments below, and feel free to subscribe. It'd be very nice. Plan on dropping a lot more videos on this channel soon about shop builds, projects, specific tool reviews like my CNC, and a lot of organization projects, which is one of my passions, because I know being organized is the key to efficient and having fun while you're woodworking. So I think that about covers it, and I'll see you all again soon.